Hello and welcome. I am Deji Badimasi. Now, there are indications that efforts to settle the ongoing internal crisis rocking the main opposition People's Democratic Party, especially the rift between the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and the party's presidential flag bearer Atiku Abubakar, is not yielding any positive results. Cracks in the opposition party widened after Atiku Abubakar emerged as the presidential candidate and overlooked Nyesom Wike when selecting his running mate. This situation created bad blood between supporters now of both men, most especially those in the camp of the Rivers State Governor, who are of the opinion that he deserved at least that position as compensation for his efforts and contributions in the party. Now, several efforts from the party stakeholders to end the rift have proved abortive, as no meaningful agreement has been reached by the two parties. Meanwhile, National Chairman of the party, Dr. Yocha Ayu, has also come under fire as calls for his resignation intensifies. Notable members of the party, especially from the Southwest, have amplified calls for Ayu's resignation on the grounds that the party's presidential candidate and the national chairman cannot come from the same region. But Ayu has so far stood his ground, saying that he has no plans to resign from his position because he was elected for a tenure of 4 years. Now, Ayu's current stand is, however, contrary to the promise he made in October 2021 during the lead-up to the party's convention, where he pledged to step down after a presidential candidate emerges and happens to be in the north, saying that he was willing to do everything to promote the interest and image of the party. The stakeholders from the south have since asked Ayu to resign immediately in the spirit of fairness and to also give the southern region a sense of belonging in the party. Well, joining me to discuss this further now is public affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Mr. Ojo, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Well, it appears there's no end in sight in the crisis rocking the PDP.
Well, political parties are not new to conflict, and issues around politicking is always have as its heart issues of conflict management. No political party of repute is devoid of conflict or crisis or whatever you may want to call it. Even if you have an alumni association or you have even church groups, it does happen that where there are a group of people, there will always be conflict.
But also the timing of the crisis is very important. A party would not want to have a big crisis like the PDP is having now, especially when that party is preparing for presidential election.
You are the one calling it big crisis. To the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen it as the demand being beyond the camp of Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, and with the backing of Chief Olabode George. These are two individuals who, yes, they are respected opinion molders and chieftain of PDP, but they do not represent the majority view. Don't forget, if you take out Nyesom Wike, the South still boasts of Governor Emmanuel Udom, Okowa, Emmanuel Udom of
State.
Akwa Ibom, Okowa of Delta. We still have that of Edo, that's Bayelsa. So out of 6, 1 defected to APC, and leaving 5. And if out of 5, where you have Rukus, it's only from the camp of Nyesom Wike. I think the party needs to be very careful the kind of demands that are ceded to by the camp of Atiku, because a tree does not make a forest. Wike cannot be cherry picking. For instance, he is talking about if there will be any peace meeting, Ayu must first resign, and not only that, the meeting must hold in Port Harcourt. Why so? Why so? I mean, the party almost became the personal property of Nyesom Wike before October last year. Recall that he was the one that brought in Prince Uche Secondus.
Yes.
And foisted it on the party. And at the end of the day, when Prince Uche Secondus was not dancing to the tune of Nyesom Wike, he decided to
fire him, so to speak.
To remove him even before the expiration of his tenure.
Yes.
Greater disservice can that be? You understand? I don't think it is right for PDP to just give in to whatever demands is made of governor of Rivers State. It's dangerous.
Now, do you get the impression, because it would appear that's the, do you get that impression? Because it would appear that's the impression that Governor Nyesom Wike is giving, that there's just no way the PDP can win the election without him, and that he's got the support of quite a number of governors from the southeast especially, and some in the southwest.
I don't get that. I really don't know why he believes without him PDP will collapse. It's better that PDP loses 2023 presidential election than to have a BO month that will even be making, extraneous demands of someone like Nyesom Wike, even if he's out of office. This is a governor that is an outgoing governor. By this time next year, he will no longer be the governor of Rivers State. So all he wants to do now is to bring another man Friday of his to foist it on the PDP, so that he will continue to puppet the person from behind. It is dangerous, and I think PDP should learn from what happened during the tenure of Prince Uche Secondus. They said lightning doesn't strike twice, and it is said also that if a man deceives me once, shame on him. If twice, shame on me. Atiku should not just, as we say in Yoruba parlance, you don't have to prostrate for the cow because you want to eat the meat of that cow. It's not only Nyesom Wike that is in PDP, and it doesn't have the state with the highest number of voters, even in the country. He may have in the south, but I believe that significant number of voters in Delta, in Akwa Ibom, in Bayelsa, in Edo, and mark you, even the rank of PDP in Rivers State is divided by the very combative nature of Nyesom Wike in handling the affairs of the party within the state. Just a few days ago, he was calling the elders of the party all manner of names and saying that he was going to publish their names because they decided not to go ahead with them. With him. So some who met with Atiku's camp, he was lambasting them, or so I learned. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that why should it be my way or highway? I mean, this whole problem came up because, one, he lost, as you said in your background, he lost in the presidential primary that was held in May of 2022. Two, he lost again as a vice presidential nominee. So had it been that he became the vice president nominee, will he have been asking for you to resign?
But let's also look at their argument. Their argument is that, look, you can't have the presidential candidate come from one region, and you have the chairman of the party come from the same region as well. In fact, even the chairman of the board of trustees is from the same region as well. Of course, Atiku has made the case that, look, that the party constitution says, that's Atiku's position anyway, that what the party constitution says is that the chairman would leave his position after the election. That is when he would have, that's when if at all he emerges the president of the country. But then Wike's position is that the party's constitution is very clear that the chairman and the candidate cannot come from the same party, And then even IU himself is on record to have said he was going to step down if a candidate from the north eventually emerged. And that's exactly what has happened. But then he's chosen not to step down.
Again, this is politics, and politics is a game of intrigues. Sometimes you stoop to conquer. When IU was being projected as the consensus candidate, I really want, because this is what happens when you are having consensus. This is the same way they brought in Prince Uche Secondus through consensus. If there were competitive election, and okay, Wike is talking of PDP constitution now, but when they decided to jettison zoning,
he didn't complain.
And Autumn, Governor Samuel Autumn's committee decided to throw every position open. Did they not know that there was a provision in the constitution of PDP that says that that should be zoning? So, and I think and when you say IU was said to have been on record, let them bring out the record. This is more like a gentleman's agreement, and it is also known that there have been several of such breaches in Nigeria. Recall that we are told that Obasanjo made the same commitment to a few member of the PDP that he was going to do only one term, and that was why Atiku was jostling to become the president of Nigeria in 2003. We never saw the record of where that was said. Nobody brought out any tape or record or whatever. But these are things that happen behind the camera. We also know of the case of Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes.
That was also said that he told Obasanjo that he was going to do only one term, and that eventually he reneged. People like Babangida Aliyu also came out as governor of Niger State then to say that he was there. He witnessed this whole thing, that Jonathan said he was going to do one term. But it is the same party that gave Jonathan the ticket to run for the second term. If they knew that he had said it at the party, you see, this is what happens when you personalize issues. When you just take issues of this kind of weighty issue, you do it in a caucus.
All right. I understand your take, and sometimes I really wonder, why, especially those from the South, I mean, members of the party from the South, especially including Governor Wike himself, why they did not move to stop the party from throwing the tickets open. Why, if for instance, they had actually threatened, all of them had threatened to walk away from the party at that time when the party said it was not going to zone its presidential ticket, maybe we would not be talking about this now. Maybe the party would have changed its mind and then zoned it to the South.
Because as at that time, they could have held the party by the jugular by saying, look, we are walking away. Okay, if you want to have a northern president, go and have your northern president. The optics are in favor of the South as at that time. Up till now, if you count the number of southern governors who are PDP, they are far more than those of the northern governors. Take it from Oyo in Southwest. Now they have a governor in Osun, incoming governor of Osun, another member. Now, if you go to Southeast, you still have Abia, you have Enugu, and then you go to South. Out of five out of six, 5 of them are members of the People's Democratic Party. So when you do the tally, you go up north. How many governors do they have in the north? From Benue, apart from Benue, Taraba, Adamawa,
you're quite right.
Which other? So what I'm saying is that the numerical strength of PDP is in the south, and if they have put their foot down and said, "Look, we are not going to take it. You cannot jettison the zoning principle at this point," the party will have no choice. After all, it was governors. It was the governor of APC that made the party to zone
Yes.
the ticket to the south.
To the south.
Apart from the clamor by Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State, it was the 14 governors
Yes.
from the north that went
Yes.
and meet with the president, even
That's
when
true.
Adamu Abdullahi said, oh, the president has endorsed president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, as the consensus candidate of the party. It was those 14 governors that went and met with the president and said, no, we will not take it.
That's true.
You have to zone the party the ticket, presidential ticket to the south. So this is what I'm talking about. But when people play treacherous game, when it favors you,
and then it backfires.
you keep quiet. When it does not favor you, you start standing on rooftop and start condemning what didn't favor you. That is why I do not believe. And let's even put the issue in context. Does it not make a better sense to say, look, you have to resign once Atiku becomes president-elect, so that we know that for the next 4 years, the president will be sworn in, will be in office for 4 years. Then they can have a special convention where a new chairman will come from the south. But as it is now, all these things that you are counting, chairman BOT, chairman of, it may remain so for another 4 years, because they may lose the next presidential election. It's a possibility. So nobody can say with certainty where the next president of Nigeria will come from. And I was saying somewhere yesterday that the 2023 election is the most unpredictable presidential election Nigeria may have. Even to the day of election, we may not be sure who will be our next president.
All right, I guess we'll just have to leave it there. We'll wait and see how the crisis in the party pans out. Jide Ojo, Public Affairs Analyst, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for talking to us.
It's a pleasure. Do have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you. You stay safe as well. Well, we'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back to continue the conversation with another guest. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's continue the conversation now on the crisis rocking the PDP. I'm now being joined on the program by a chieftain of the party, Wahab Owokoniran. Thank you very much, Mr. Owokoniran, for joining us on the program. What is happening in your party now is quite disturbing. I mean, do you see any kind of resolution in sight?
Well, thank you for bringing me on this program. And I can tell you that what is happening in our party is not unusual. It is common whenever there is an election or primary. People who are aggrieved are bound to show their concern. And from what I have seen so far, I think it's just a normal occurrence, and I've seen a resolution in sight. When the two sides meet, they'll be able to resolve most of the differences, if not resolving it finally.
Now, one of the sticking points, of course, is the position of the chairman of the party. Wike's camp, of course, is demanding that the chairman of the party, that's the national chairman now, should resign because he comes from the same region as the presidential candidate. What's your take on that?
Well, I quite believe that the chairman should resign, but not in the immediate. You know, the reason why I don't believe he should resign in the immediate is the fact that we're in the middle of an election. We're going for an election. And if we bring another hands now, it's going to affect all the planning that has been going on. So I will rather advise Wike camp to wait until after the general election before asking the man to leave. Leaving now will not do the party any good at all.
And of course, the man himself has said that is what should be the case. And the candidate of your party, of course, has also said it should be after the election. And if the party emerges victorious, he becomes president, then that the chairman would have to leave. But why do you think the camp of Wike is, bent on having Ayu resign as chairman of the party? I mean, what does the camp now stand to gain over the resignation of Ayu?
Well, this is politics. You know, Wike Camp might feel that during the primary process, the chairman did not do much to support him in terms of giving support to some of his concerns in terms of the delegate that emerged before the primaries and many other issues, you know, in different states that involve some of Wike's allies. So in the process, he felt that by the time they were able to remove the chairman, they were able to take over the control of the party, and they will be able to put their people in places in different states. You know, the bottom line is to have the control of the party.
I know for one thing that, look, the chairman of the party is very close to the presidential candidate. Both of them have been together for a very long time now. And that, look, a candidate would want to work with a chairman that he is very close to, and that, you know, he feels comfortable working with. And there's no question at all that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has made it very clear that he's very comfortable working with Yochiayu now, Dr. Yochiayu, and going into the election with him. And I'm just wondering why a man who is not a candidate for the election now wants that chairman to be removed.
Well, that is the concern of most PDP members, that whatever the case may be, one is expecting Wike to show a lot of maturity, especially that Wike is known to be a strong party member. He's a very loyal member, one of the pillars of the PDP. When there was nobody to assist the party, he was one of the very few governors that stood firmly behind the party. And I'm very sure that he himself would not want the party to collapse or to break down at this point. I know that somewhere along the line, the reasoning will prevail, and Wike will still reason why IU has to stay on. And I'm also aware that Wike is being surrounded by some of his loyalists who are telling him that the only way we can become more relevant in this party is to remove the national chairman, which is not going to serve the best interests of the party at this particular point in time. I'm sure reasoning will prevail at the end of the day.
Now, the governor keeps talking about Rivers votes, and you know, every opportunity he gets, he talks about how important the votes of Rivers State is. And I'm just wondering, if there's no resolution eventually, is it that your party cannot win this election without the votes of Rivers State, without winning Rivers State?
Well, I'm not going to say whether we can win or not, because I believe that every vote counts, you know, and I'm very sure that if we add Rivers' vote to whatever vote Atiku is bringing in the rest part of the country, it's going to be a plus. And at the same time, I can understand why Governor Wike is saying that Rivers State vote is very, very important. It's like a local politician too. If you don't carry them along enough, or if they feel that their interest is not well protected, or it's not going to be well protected, they will be telling you that whatever the number of followership they have, no matter how small they are, you know, they could make a difference. And so therefore, they will not be ready to put that number of votes behind you. What Wike is doing at the state level, a local politician, even at the councillorship level, you know, a candidate an aspirant who lost an election, if it's not well handled, can do the same.
And I'm just wondering, what is it about Governor Wike that makes him so important to your party? That makes him so important that you know, the party can't just ignore his I don't know how to put it, for lack of a better word now, belligerence.
Well, me, I would not even contemplate, you know, leaving or overlooking Dr. Wike's influence. I mean, Governor Wike's influence, regardless of whatever, how small it may be. You know, we should try to be a student of history. In 2014 through 2015, almost the same scenario played out when about 5 governors said that they're going to leave the party, There was a school of thought who said, let them go, no matter what. PDP is large, PDP is strong. We will win regardless of them. And look at what happened.
But in this case, you're dealing with just one governor.
Well,
even though you have some governors who are on his side, but you know, I mean, some of those governors too have also said they are with the PDP.
You see, in 2014 we are talking of 5 governors. In 2022/23 we might be talking of 1 governor. As I've said earlier, one single vote could make a difference. If you look at the last presidential election, I think we had well over 2 million votes from Rivers. That's a substantial number of votes. If you look at that vote and add about 5 states, even in the southwest here, if you total Osun state vote, Ogun state vote, Ekiti state vote, and Ondo, they are still not up to 2 million. So if a single state could come up with a 2 million vote, you know, that would be an addition to our. So such votes, we should not treat it with levity, and we should not allow it to slip away from us. Mind you, this coming election is going to be different from the previous election we have had in the past. I believe that actual votes will be counted this time around. There won't be no much room for rigging like it used to be. There will not be too much room for changing of figures or manipulation of figures like it used to be.
Actually, the number of votes that your party got in Rivers State in 2019, because I just had to check up on that.
Okay.
That's Atiku Abubakar now. He got 473,971 votes.
In Rivers?
Yes, in Rivers State.
In 2019?
Yes, in the 2019 presidential
Okay, what about
election.
in 2015? What do we score? I
in
know
in 2015, I'll have to check up on that.
It was almost 2 million.
I'll have to check up on that, but
Okay.
Atiku got 473,971 votes.
You know, 2019 election was not to me, wasn't a free and fair elections. Most of the things that happened that time, take for instance in Lagos, there was a lot of voter suppressions in Lagos State. Ballot boxes were being snatched, ballot boxes, you know, votes were being stuck into ballot boxes. So 2019 election cannot be a good yardstick of measurement. With this new electoral act, I believe the actual votes will be counted, and I can tell you that.
But the truth is, I don't think at any time at all, I don't think there was a time when Rivers State turned out 2 million votes for the PDP. In fact, in 2015, the vote cast, the total number of votes cast was 1,584,768 votes.
And what
That's the total number of votes cast. And let's see what the PDP got in that election. The PDP got 1,487,075 votes.
Was that not substantially enough?
Now, the point is, the reason I asked you this question is, the impression that has been given is that Wike is Rivers State and Rivers State is Wike. Are you now saying that, look, if Wike does not support Vice President Atiku Abubakar, that Atiku on his own cannot win substantial amount of votes in Rivers State, that Rivers State people would vote where Governor Wike tells them to vote? I don't think that's the case.
Well, I don't really think that is the case too, but at the same time, I don't want to undervalue the influence of Governor Wike. I'm a strong PDP member, and we are looking forward to winning this election, and I believe that everybody counts.
But the truth is that your party cannot continue to have this kind of crisis. It should be concentrating on the elections, but there's been a lot of distractions. I mean, this crisis has dominated issues about the party right from after the convention. And it's just not showing any sign of abating. I mean, the governor keeps addressing the media almost on a daily or weekly basis now. And, he continues to remain very, very, very belligerent, if you like.
Well, you know, the governor is a politician, and everybody have their tricks or tactics of getting people onto the negotiation table. All those media things you are seeing on a daily basis, to me, they are just like a smoke screen, just to increase its value of negotiation. A lot of work is going on behind the scene, and I'm sure that in a not too distant future, they are going to come with an agreement, And you will see Governor Wike bouncing back and supporting the party in a big way. I'm very sure of that.
Well, I just hope so much damage would not have been done before that agreement is reached. We just wait and see how it pans out. Let's just hope this is resolved very quickly so that your party can move forward, because this is one distraction it doesn't need.
We will definitely.
So Wahab Okoniro, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you for sharing your time with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Well, that's how much we can take on the program this week. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week.